Jehovah, the God of wisdom, tells us what will happen in the last days of this world. In Revelation chapter 6, he gives the Apostle John this vision. I saw, and look, a white horse, and the one seated upon it had a bow, and a crown was given him, and he went forth conquering, and to complete his conquest. And when he opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature say, Come. And another came forth, a fiery-coloured horse. And to the one seated upon it there was granted to take peace away from the earth, so that they should slaughter one another. And a great sword was given him. And when he opened the third seal, I heard the third living creature say, Come. And I saw, and look, a black horse, and the one seated upon it had a pair of scales in his hand. And I heard a voice as if in the midst of the four living creatures say, A quart of wheat for a denarius, and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius, and do not harm the olive oil and the wine. And when he opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature say, Come. And I saw, and look, a pale horse, and the one seated upon it had the name Death, and Hades was closely following him. And authority was given them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with a long sword, and with famine, and with deadly disease, and by the wild beasts of the earth. After Jesus Christ, the newly enthroned King, rode out on his white horse to begin his conquest of the earth, the red horse of war also went out in the year 1914. The black horse of famine went out also shortly after. And then the pale horse of violence, disease, and death went out, signifying great woe for human beings on the earth. We are now living in the time of the pale horse, and we see around us people dying of violence and deadly diseases. Jesus was right when he said in Matthew chapter 24 verse 7, there will be food shortages and plagues and earthquakes in many places. Those who keep saying democracy, democracy, have rejected the rulership of King Jesus Christ and brag that they can successfully solve mankind's problems and govern themselves without help from their creator, Jehovah God. So they must learn the hard way that they are wrong and cannot succeed independent of Jehovah God. We are now witnessing the painful consequences of their stubborn and proud opposition to Jehovah and his Son. But will coronavirus or Covid-19 wipe out mankind? The Bible's answer is no. Even though many will be killed by diseases, the governments and political powers will soon destroy organized religion. They must be alive to be able to do Jehovah God's work against religion. And so must the army and police services. Then, later, many will join together to attack Jesus Christ and God's kingdom, which they will have to do by attacking the members of Jehovah's Empire on earth. Those God-hating attackers will still be alive when Jehovah God strikes them with the last disease, the realization of their sick entertainment about the walking dead and the zombie apocalypse. Through the prophet Zechariah, Jehovah says this in chapter 14, verse 12. This is what will prove to be the scourge with which Jehovah will scourge all the peoples that will actually do military service against Jerusalem. There will be a rotting away of one's flesh while one is standing upon one's feet, and one's very eyes will rot away in their sockets, and one's very tongue will rot away in one's mouth. Not one of them will escape that disease. So no, the world today will not be destroyed by coronavirus. Many people will survive it, and the future events predicted by the Bible will then happen. Jehovah is the God of prophecy. He tells mankind its future before it happens. The future of all people who are willing to love Jehovah and his King Jesus Christ will be much better than the terrible life that many are now suffering. And it will be much better than the future that awaits Jehovah's enemies. The prophet Isaiah says in chapter 33 verse 23, "At that time, even spoil in abundance will have to be divided up. The lame ones themselves will actually take a big plunder. And no resident will say, 'I am sick.' The people that are dwelling in the earth will be those pardoned for their error." Revelation chapter 21 verses 3 and 4 say, "They will be his people, and God himself will be with them as their God. And he will wipe away every tear from their eyes. And death will not be any more. Neither will grief, nor outcry, nor pain be any more, because the former things are gone." Any innocent people who are killed by a disease will be resurrected in the new world and will be given the opportunity to live forever in the restored paradise. Join the Jehovites of Empire of Jehovah as we tell the people the truth about what is going to happen to the world. We will tell the rebels straight that they must repent and change their ways before it's too late. And we will help all of Jesus' genuine sheep to get to the finishing line, alive and saved and ready for eternal happiness.